Okay, meeting called to order. Today is February 13th, 2024. This is the Borough and Council meeting for the Borough of Oakland. Would the clerk please read the statement of compliance?
This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law, duly announced, advertised, and posted in the municipal building. The meeting will adjourn no later than 10 p.m. unless the majority of the council members that are present vote to extend the time.
Thank you. All rise. Councilman Pincatelli, please lead us in the flag salute, please.
Thank you. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a quick moment of silence, please. Proceed. Okay. Clerk, would you please conduct a roll call, please?
Councilwoman Goffredo?
Here.
Councilman McCann?
Here.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Here.
Council President Saliani?
Here.
Councilman Slasinski? Councilman Talamini?
Here.
Motion to excuse Councilman Slazinski.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, let me do a quick mayor's report here. Let me start off with the water. The water PFOA treatment is currently on schedule. I don't know if anybody's noticed, down at the rec field, you got some tanker trucks down there. They're currently loading all of the carbon media into the vessels right now. That's going to be followed up by the one down at Spruce Street and the one up by 84 Lumber. And we expect to be online by probably 28th, right at the end of the month. We're running right on target, and we're really making good progress on this with the water. Patriots Way Bridge. We had a pre-construction meeting last week. Myself, Councilman McCann, Council President Steve Saliani. We had members of utilities, public service. We had the water department. We had Verizon. We had everybody there, including our engineer and the contractor. We are currently setting up a public meeting, a community meeting for the people that live up in the reserve, so that we can really set expectations for the residents moving forward once this construction starts. So stay tuned for that. Lakeside construction. I know it's been a problem for the last couple of years. I'm happy to report that the water main work is completed. They just have to cut over 3 more houses, and all that work will be completed at the end of the week. The sewer project. As you know, we've been working on the sewer project for the last couple of years. I'm happy to announce that the first sewage plant has come offline yesterday, and we are now sending flow to Northwest Bergen. That's the one right up here behind the Staples Shopping Center. The other 2 will be coming off in the next couple of weeks, which means that the borough will not be maintaining sewer plants anymore. I want to also thank the DPW for their snow removal efforts. We really got hit pretty hard this morning, and it was hard to keep up, but we were down to blacktop about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And once again, Oakland really leads when it comes to snow removal in this county. You look at the other surrounding towns, and we really got this thing down. Also, I want to talk about the dump real quick, the recycling center. I want to just throw it to our borough attorney. Do we have any updates that you've heard of in the process?
There has been no movement on the issue.
Okay. I did attend they're not called freeholders, a county commissioners meeting 2 weeks ago. I had an opportunity to lobby all of the county commissioners one at a time. I'm inviting them down here to really look at where the plant is located and in relationship to all the houses in the neighborhood, so that when it comes to a vote in front of them, they're educated and they understand how critical it is for Oakland not to have this recycling center here. Also, 2 other pieces of information. The Mayor's Blood Drive is this Thursday, February 15th, from 12:30 to 4:30 p.m. I'll be down there giving blood. We still have a couple open slots available to anybody that'd like to give. All the information is on our social media. And also, as you know, we've been doing a lot of work on the Van Allen House. So we've got an first open house from the Oakland Historical Society this Sunday, February 18th, from 1 to 4 p.m., weather permitting. They're going to be displaying a collection of historic dolls, including George and Martha Washington. And really go down there and look at all the work we did on that house for the last 2 years. I mean, they really did a nice job with the historic, the amount of detail that went into that house to make it back period correct for the house of its statue back in the 1600s. That's all I have at this moment. Do I have a motion to open to public?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Anybody wish to address the council? Just need your name and address.
Carrie Serenides, 41 Sioux Avenue, Oakland. So I just want to say very quickly that removing the open public session, the second one, I think is a bad idea. I don't think that there was enough transparency around it. I think that what you could have done is, and I understand that a lot of other towns don't do it, I understand that, but I think what could have been done is possibly just saying, we're thinking about removing the second session. We'll test it out for a couple of months. If no one speaks at one of the sessions, then we'll consider removing it. This way the public knew in advance. The public didn't know. I think the public is upset about it, and I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Jim Folkerts, 4 Seminole Avenue. Yeah, I have the same concerns as the prior speaker about the removal of the open session. I don't think it's a great idea either. I think it concerns me with the new, I'll just say, administration coming on board. That's one of the initial things they do without any notice to the public. Take away the right to speak to issues on a real-time basis at a particular meeting. It concerns me. It just seems like it's trying to me, it could be a perception of limiting public opinion. And I don't think, this is what the council in our town is all about. So I would like to ask, what was the reason for doing it?
Thank you, Mr. Folkerts.
There's no response to that, I guess.
We don't do a give and take in this portion.
Okay, well, there's the opportunity. I mean, there must be a reason. It would be beneficial at least to understand it, rather than just have something taken away from the public with no discussion, no knowledge, no transfer of any information.
Thank you.
Okay?
Anybody else?
Nat Weisler, 47 Winding Ridge. I didn't quite get all of, I'm talking about the Patriots Way Bridge. Where are we going here with this? You said something about updating the residents?
Yeah, so what we're doing is we're working with your board, okay? And the key to this is going to be the communication with the residents. This is going to be a 2-year project, okay? So we are working with your board, with our borough administrator, talking to the president of your board to set up a public meeting at the end of the month for all the residents so they can understand what's going to be involved with building the bridge, what the timelines are going to be, and what the expectations are. So there's good, clean communication to set realistic expectations to you, the residents.
And that will be by the end of this month?
Yes.
Thank you.
Sheila Boylan, 16 Walnut Street. I have 2 issues I'd like to address to the mayor and council. One is community-based deer management. I don't know about the rest of you, but I have nothing in my yard lower than this. I have deer all the time. I chase them, I have a horn, you can't.
Doesn't work.
They eat everything, even the things that are on the list that they're not supposed to eat. Thousands of dollars of damage. Plus, the only thing that kills them, of course, is a car on the road. And at that point, we pick them up and incinerate them. The state runs a community-based deer management program where you can have a supervised hunt to eliminate some of the deer. Of course, not all of them, but some of them. And I'm also on the Shade Tree Commission, and we're very concerned because they are eating all of the saplings. I planted red maples, they're gone. Because it's below their point of whatever. The trees are dying in the wooded areas, and we can't grow anything because they eat it. So I would like to see, I have the printout from the state about the deer management program, and I know several communities that do it. I don't know if Kim Bauer is on the Shade Tree Commission as well. He is certified bow hunter, and he would be more than happy to run the program if the borough and council would agree to it. Because in the past, when I've presented it, they went, "Oh, you want to kill Bambi?" Yes. Yes, I do. And by the way, they're quite delicious. I come from a family of hunters, so I can give this information
You can
to
just give it to
me.
the clerk,
Please.
Well,
And-
I know we have an ordinance that you can't discharge a firearm in town.
Well, they do,
But you said
they
go.
bow hunt.
Yeah.
Council, to remind everyone, we're not supposed to be going back and forth with the audience. You
I
can't
didn't
have it
say
one enough
anything.
No, I'm talking to my council members.
No, I mean, they bow hunt, and he is certified and has the ability to run the program. I have a cousin who's mayor in Morris County, and they've been doing it for years. I know Upper Saddle River has a very large management program, but it is approved by the state. The last dead deer I saw was on the ramp going to 287. And when I called the police, they said, well, we can't take that, that's state property. 3 weeks later, the thing was torn apart. That had to be coyotes. I'm talking across from Walgreens. Do we really want to encourage them to come down and take all the dead deer off the road? Anyway, that's my first concern. My second issue is that my neighbor came in this summer with backhoes, regraded his property, put up a 6-foot white plastic fence, which I didn't move to Oakland to live next to a white plastic fence, but that's his, it now, because he raised his property almost a foot higher than mine, my yard is now flooded every time it rains. I have contacted Mr. Yukemic. They came out. Oh, he also flooded the poor person on the other side of his yard, which ran into her house. They did take care of her to some extent. Me, they went, oh, yep, that's a problem. He filed reports. I've hounded the poor man since October. He tells me the zoning board says, or the planning board, they don't have any authority to do anything about it. The man did all of this with no permits, by the way. So far, I have the report from Boswell. Nothing. I have contacted our borough administrator. I went to a planning board meeting. I've gone to zoning board meetings. In the meantime, my value on my property went up $27,000. And trust me, I try to sell my house in the rain, I'm not getting it. It's not gonna happen. Who wants a backyard that's flooded? Because I don't, and I've been there for 43 years, and I've never had this issue. And I just don't know where to go at this point, and who to contact.
Okay.
Everybody says they have no authority. They can't enforce it. He had no permits.
Could you just leave your name and number and I'll reach out to you?
I have it.
Oh, we have it? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
somebody will reach out to you.
Yeah, I'm just getting, I know now it's winter and it's frozen, and what are they gonna do? I mean, if he wants that in his yard, that's fine, but he's gonna have to provide some kind of drainage for me. You can't put more dirt because it'll kill all my trees. That whole side of my yard is all trees. And obviously, if I'm the Shade Tree Commission, I like my trees. I'm very fond of my trees, and I don't want them gone. So, and being underwater, they will die. So, I just would like to see, that's a personal issue. That has nothing to do with anything else.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Anybody else?
Motion to close?
Do you have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, approval of minutes.
Mayor, before we move on.
Yes.
If I may for a minute. Ms. Boylan's issue has been referred to code enforcement. I don't know the current status of it, but I know that they are aware of it. There are issues with soil movement, and I believe with the fence itself. I'll be speaking with them tomorrow morning, and I'll get you an update.
Thank you, Mr. Kritz.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, approval minutes, January 23rd, 2024. we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Councilman McCann?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Council President Saliani?
Yes.
Councilman Talamini?
Yes.
All right, executive sessions minutes, January 23rd, 2024. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Councilman McCann?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Councilman President Saliani?
Yes.
Councilman Talamini?
Yes.
All right, we have the following raffle licenses. RL 1482 for the Oakland Franklin Lakes Rotary for a 50/50. We have raffle license RL 1483 for the SJG Home and School Association on April 19th at Portobello's. We have raffle license RL 1485 for Stephen J. Gernarsi, HSA, on April 19th at Portobello. We have raffle license RL 1486 for the Wyckoff Reformed Church for March 3rd, 2024 at Portobello's for BSA Troop 89. We have raffle license RL 1487 for the Wyckoff Reformed Church on March 3rd, 2024, Portobello's for Boy Scout Troop 89. We have raffle license RL 1488 for 50/50 for the Hubbard School PTO on March 14th, 2024 for the Hubbard School Natural Playground. We have raffle license RL 1489 for a tricky tray for the Hubbard School PTO on March 14th, 2024, Portobello for the Hubbard School of Natural Playground. Do I have a motion to consent agenda for these following?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Councilman McCann?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Council President Saliani?
Yes.
Councilman Talamini?
Yes.
All right, we also have, there's a conflict with one of our members of the council, so we have raffle license RL 1484 for the Sports Association of Oakland on March 9th, 2024 at the Valley Middle School for the Oakland Braves base basketball. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Councilman McCann?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Council President Saliani?
Abstain.
Councilman Talamini?
Yes.
All right, one more. We have approved social affairs permit for the Oakland Elks for March 30th for a comedy night. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Abstain.
Councilman McCann?
Is he funny? Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Council President Saliani?
Yes.
Councilman Talamini?
Yes.
All right, we have the following appointments for borough professionals. Risk manager health will be Aquashore. And for the alternate borough attorney will be the law office of Christopher Kane. Prosecutor. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Councilman McCann?
Abstain.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Council President Saliani?
Yes.
Councilman Talamini?
Yes.
All right, we have the following appointments for committees. I'm going to do the mayor and council ones first. For the Arts Committee, I have Peter Marklis for a one-year term. For the Board of Health, I've got John Beluccio for a three-year term ending in 12/31/26. That's the balance of the term. I got Jeff Klein for a balance of a term ending on 3/31/26. And for the Environmental Commission, I have Brian Crowley for alternate two for a two-year ending in 12/31/2025. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. These are mayoral appointments for Access for All. I've got Eileen Perry for a one-year unexpired term and a John Beluccio for a one-year unexpired term. For Shade Tree, we've got a Harry Harrison for a five-year unexpired term ending in 12/31/25. And for the CDBG committee, I'm going to be appointing Mr. Coons. Well, actually, we'll do this under the resolution. We'll hold off on that. All right, that's it for that. Let's move right ahead to resolutions.
Sorry. Oh, did you do the Environmental Commission, Brian Crowley?
Did I?
Did you do him?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Brian Crowley.
Okay.
Alternate two.
I think you said shade tree instead of environmental.
Oh, yeah, I don't think you did environmental was a mayor and council.
Okay. So that'd be a Brian Crowley, he's gonna be alternate two
Two.
for a 2-year positioning on 12/31/25. Motion approved?
So moved.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
All right, moving right along to resolutions. We'll do the following as a consent agenda, and we're gonna pull some of these out. I know they've all been posted on the website, you've read them in your packets, so we are going to do consent agenda 2469, 2470, 2471, 2472, 2473, 2474, 2477, 2478, 2480, 2481, 2484, 2485, 2486, 2488, 2489, and 2491. I have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Councilman McCann?
Abstain.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Council President Saliani?
Yes.
Councilman Talamini?
Yes.
All right, 2476, appoint deputy registrar. Motion to approve. We have, one of our council people has a conflict with that, so motion to approve.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Councilman McCann?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Councilman Saliani?
Abstain.
Councilman Talamini?
Yes.
2479, annual appointment to the municipal representatives of the Bergen County Development Regional Committees for year 2023, covering July 1st, 23 through June 20th, 2024. The mayor has 2 appointments. I'll be appointing Borough Administrator Mr. Coons and our CFO, Mr. Young, and I believe Council President is going to appoint 2 people from the council.
Appoint myself and Kevin Slazinski.
Motion?
So moved.
Second? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Councilman McCann?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Council President Saliani?
Yes.
Councilman Talamini?
Yes.
All right, we've got 2482 award contract for community grants, planning and housing for administrative agents and the rehabilitation housing program administration. Once again, we have a conflict with one of our members. Motion to introduce. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Abstain.
Councilman McCann?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Council President Saliani?
Yes.
Councilman Talamini?
Yes.
All right, 2483 award contract to Associated Appraisal Group 2024 reassessment program. The reason I wanted that pulled out is we're receiving emails from residents asking why we're being reassessed every year. Therefore, I'd like to have our Borough Administrator, Mr. Coons, explain the process.
Sure, thanks. So this is something that we started when we were ordered to do the last reassessment in 2021, coming on the books in 2022. The decision was made that rather than do it once every 10 years or so, that it would be advantageous in the long run to go to what's called an annual reassessment program, where all properties are looked at every single year to keep their assessed values as close as possible to market rate values. That does a couple of things. One, it spreads your cost out of doing that. 2, it keeps the assessments equitable from year to year. Over time, you get these sort of disparities, and it leads to inequities in terms of everybody's supposed to be paying their fair share. This helps meet that goal of a program. It also reduces the amount of disruption year to year. If you have a reassessment every 10 years or 12 years, when the assessed value has dropped greatly relative to market value, you can have a large shift in individual properties or classes of property, let's say residential to commercial or industrial. Doing it every year means that those adjustments are much more minor. The impacts on individual homeowners generally are much less than they would be when you do it every 10 years or so, and everybody waits with bated breath to see exactly what their assessment is. Another benefit is over time, it tends to reduce tax appeals as well, and that reduces in some cost reduction potentially for the borough as well. So there's a lot of reasons that we do it. And you won't see the inspector out at your house every year because it's on like a 5-year rolling basis where we pick about 20% or so, or 25% a year to inspect. But every property is getting looked at by the appraisal company every single year and brought up to market rate.
Thank you, Mr. Coons. I just wanted our Borough Administrator to just give a nice explanation to everybody, because we do receive inquiries every now and then, and also receive emails from residents.
Eric, I'd like to ask Borough Administrator a question.
Sir?
Mr. Coons, when you say looked at every year, is that actual drive-by, or are we just using comps in the neighborhood?
Using comps and the like.
And
Yeah,
we've been,
not every house is visually inspected every year.
so we've been doing this for 4 years now?
This, I believe, is the third year of the
Okay.
program.
So I know other towns have gone to it. Do you feel this is a better model? Has this helped us from what we've done previously? Does it help run the town run better? The whole idea was to save money by doing the costs.
Yes,
every year.
You're spreading out the cost annually versus, a 10-year cost, which is, $500,000 or more. It certainly helps from that perspective. Again, and there's a fairness issue at play, that everybody pays their fair share. And it certainly helps promote that. And I think that it's beneficial to residents too, where you're not shocked once every 10 years, where, maybe you make out, maybe, your property has dramatically increased in value compared to your neighbors, or maybe that based on what's just happened, there's a shift to residential or a shift away from residential. It's much more incremental. And I think, those changes are easier for residents to absorb.
And has our appeals increased, and even in the business sector as well?
There were some initial appeals really on the commercial side, especially because there was a shift with the last reassessment to the commercial and industrial base. I don't know the count last year off the top of my head to give you a definitive answer on that.
I have a question. Rich, I don't know if you know the answer to this at all. Is it better when you say some of the homes are not all visually inspected, when they knock on the door, if they miss you, is it better to have someone visually inspect the home internally, or does it matter?
It does matter, because if they aren't able to get into the home, there are certain assumptions that they need to make to comply with, their standards of practice, which could result in an overassessment. So we always advise, please let them in your home, let them do their job. It's going to be the most equitable solution for you as the homeowner. And certainly, if you don't, they've proven to be very accommodating with scheduling and coming back out. You can even do a virtual inspection. They've accommodated that as well.
What about security in terms of identification?
Good question. So every one of their inspectors is registered with the police department, so they have all the names. They have to wear ID badges, and if you have a question and you want to verify that, just call the police department, and they'll be able to confirm.
Anybody else have any questions? Okay, motion to approve 2483, award contract to Associated Appraisal Group 2024 reassessment program.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Councilman McCann?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Council President Saliani?
Yes.
Councilman Palomini?
Yes.
All right, I also pulled out 2487, resolution opposing A4S50 concerning affordable housing. What I'd like to do is turn this over to our borough attorney for an explanation. Obviously, affordable housing is a very hot topic in the state. Mr. Gilson, would you address this, please?
Yes, so Mayor, there is a new bill. It's passed the Assembly on a party line vote, and it would change the way that affordable housing obligations are calculated going forward to the 2025 round that everyone's talking about. It would take it and put it in hands of unelected experts that would decide what Oakland's share of the housing would be. And our legislators, Senator Chapizzi, Assemblyman Alt, and Assemblyman Azariti, are all either voted against it, the Assembly members, or Senator Chapizzi's on record as opposing it, and they've asked us to issue a resolution of support in favor of opposing this legislation that would basically set unelected experts picked by the affordable housing advocates to decide what Oakland's obligation would be, with little to no say from Oakland.
Did this just come out of the assembly?
Yes, it has not passed the Senate yet, but it has passed the Assembly.
Anybody have any questions for our borough attorney concerning this? Not seeing any. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Councilman McCann?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Council President Saliani?
Yes.
Councilman Talamini?
Yes.
All right, I also pulled out 2490, resolution authorizing Lennar Developers Agreement. The reason I wanted to pull that out is this is the property that's behind Indian Hills High School, which is where they're putting 200 units in. And I just wanted to have our borough attorney also address and explain the resolution and what's going on with that property.
Yes, so the resolution that's before you tonight is to authorize a developer's agreement that's been agreed to in principle by myself, John Ukemic, Joe Russo, the planning board attorney, and Lennar Homes for this project. There are a few administrative issues that need to be worked out as far as some bond calculations and things. So the resolution before you tonight is to approve the agreement and with the stipulation that the mayor is authorized to execute it if the borough professionals are okay with the changes that are made. Mr. Tuvell is here. If he would come up and kind of talk through some of the things that Lennar is doing for the community to address the issues that have been raised.
Good evening, everyone, Mayor, members of the council. So Lennar has been working diligently.
sorry.
Can you need
Can I
your
have
name
your
and
name?
address?
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought Jason Tuvell, attorney for Lennar. We've been working diligently with Mr. Gilson and Mr. Coons and Mr. Ukemic regarding the resolution conditions that are required here. The developers agreement just sets forth, our obligations in terms of construction of the project. We've provided a bond estimate to your engineer that's under review. I think that's part of the stipulations that we post the bond. In addition, the planning board also wanted a tree restoration bond, a separate bond that we're okay with. Mr. Gilson has already provided me with the estimate for that, which Lennar finds acceptable and we're willing to post. So those would be sort of the underlying amendments to the developers agreement that we would work out. We also have to get our soil conservation district approval as well to start tree clearing, which we're working on diligently. Boswell's also in the loop on that, as is Mr. Coons. And Mr. Gilson and I have been speaking very regularly about this matter in order to move it forward.
And could you just quickly explain the issue with the Indiana bat, Alabama bat?
Sure. So to get this project started, if you don't start tree clearing, if you don't, complete your tree clearing by March 31st, then you have to wait an additional, I believe it is 6 months to start again because of the Indiana bat that is in this area of New Jersey. So the goal is for us to start our tree clearing, complete that by the date that's required, March 31st. And then after that, we still have to work on our water and sewer approvals, TWA permit, stuff like that we're working on with the borough and all the outside agencies that are involved.
How long does anyone know how long? So if you're clear these trees by March 31st is what I just heard. Is that
Correct.
accurate?
That's correct.
So that means how long would that lot be clear cut before the other permits are received in estimation?
Yeah, so that's, can I give an estimate? 'Cause
Yeah, that's
always,
yeah.
that's always the developer question, how long things would take. But all the other items have been submitted. Our TWA applications with Northwest Bergen, they had some very minor comments, and then it goes to the DEP. So my guess, and subject to my client correcting me, my guesses would be within 3 months of the clearing, we would probably commence construction on the project. And we're actually working with the borough, having bi-weekly meetings to make sure that everything is in sync.
I was on the planning board 2 years ago,
Okay.
or a year ago, in the process of this development. I know there was a big concern about the property manager who's going to take care of the rental units.
Mm-hmm.
You still having the same property manager, or is it a different company now?
I believe that Lennar would Steve, do you want to speak to that?
Sure.
Let me, Steve, just give your name for the record.
Sure, I'm Steve Dahl, D-A-H-L, I'm with Lennar. So I think what you're referring to Ingerman, they were the company that was, that testified in front of the planning board, they were going to do the affordable homes. Lennar follows a different business model. We actually construct the homes ourselves, then sell them to someone who would own and manage the affordable homes. In this case, it's probably going to be Woodland Development Group, and they have experience in managing other rental affordable homes in the state.
I just want to make sure they're going to give the same quality to the people as the other manager presented to the board.
And in fact, yes, and we're going to be building the same buildings that that you saw or that the planning board viewed as part of that approval process.
One other question, this might seem a little strange for me to even ask it at this point. However, if the council knows, we had to go through a stormwater management seminar. We all had to attend it. And I know they commented in that program the value of rain gardens, which would help recharge our aquifer. I don't know if there's any rain gardens proposed on the development. And if not, would it be nice to have some?
Yeah, we would have to comply with all the stormwater management regulations that govern the property, at the time the application was filed by K. Danian. So presumably, and it wouldn't have been approved by the board or the DEP or by your engineer if we didn't follow those DEP guidelines. So.
Okay, thank you.
So, I was at the planning board meeting, the last planning board meeting, and they were discussing the whole problem with the Indiana bat, and you guys moving forward sooner than you normally would, because you don't have all the okays. And they were talking about doing it in a staged kind of way.
So I think, so what we talked about, and if I wasn't clear, I apologize, what I think, when I spoke to Joe Russo and spoke to Mr. Gilson, the protection that the borough wanted, or that the board wanted, that I put on the record here, is that tree restoration bond. So we put that bond in place, and it's a significant amount, it's about $850,000, and that was calculated by the Borough Shade Tree Commission and also confirmed by Boswell. So it's not even our number, it's your number. To put that in place so that the borough is protected, but I can assure you that Lennar is moving full speed ahead with the project to make sure that they expeditiously go.
I understand the bond issue, but really there was a concern that if you were gonna clear cut it all and then a storm comes, then all that runoff is gonna happen.
So the second item that I mentioned as well, that's why we need to get Bergen County Soil Conservation District approval, because we're gonna have to put in the soil erosion and sediment control measures that are gonna have to stabilize the site until, actually throughout construction, so it'll actually change in phase. So there'll be a SCD approval, SCD being Soil Conservation District approval for the tree clearing. Then when we move to full construction, those plans that we've developed that have been reviewed by the borough, but also the county, will then also be involved for the full construction.
And when we move to full construction, the first items that are built are the bases, the reasons you just
So,
mentioned.
Councilman, I think because there's a little bit of confusion going back and forth, the issue with getting moved quickly on the developer's agreement was whether or not they needed all their full approvals that they would need to build.
Right.
They've agreed that they need whatever permits they need from the town and from other agencies to remove the trees. We're not speeding any process along as far as that. The only thing that there was a point of contention that got sorted out was whether or not they would need all their approvals, that take forever to wait from DEP. And it was agreed upon that if they put these bonds in place, that they wouldn't need to have all of those approvals fully in place as long as they were applied for and moving along before they started the tree clearing. But all the permits related to tree clearing that they would need from Shade Tree and from the county and all of that, those will have to be taken care of before any clearing.
Including the soil erosion that I mentioned.
Okay, there was a lot of discussion about,
Sure.
They were concerned that it would be better to move slowly rather than clear cutting the whole thing. And I don't, the attorney was there, Boswell was there, and they were, the discussion was more about getting it staged.
Yeah, and that's how we basically decided to do it.
Okay.
Anybody else from the council have any questions?
All right, so to make sure I heard that clear, originally I used the term clear cut, and you said yes, and I said staged. So are you taking in the trees in one clear cut swoop, or is it staged?
No, what I mean stages, we'll be clearing the trees first in one swoop, to your
Okay.
point, and then we'll have to get all of our final outstanding agency approvals before actual land disturbance for construction.
And that
starts.
goes back to, basically, you clear it, and there'll be a potential 90-day delay till you get your other approvals.
Correct.
So it is, just be clear, so you are clear cutting, that's stage one, is what you're saying?
That's right.
So it's not staged, couple acres here, couple acres there, couple acres?
No.
Yeah, we intend, it'll probably take about a month, but we intend to clear the whole site that's allowed to be disturbed. Obviously, the wetland areas would not be touched.
So you don't cut down every tree? Do you cut down every tree?
well.
Every tree that's within
they
the
can.
area that's intended to be disturbed, yes.
Okay,
Yeah, just per the plans that were approved by the board.
okay.
Yeah. Nothing more than
This
what
was
was approved by
approved
the
zoning
board.
board, Russ?
They were talking about staging, it was more of an ask, you know, and, so if you guys have met, and this is what the attorneys and the engineers are all agreeing to, then that's.
And like I said, we're meeting bi-weekly with
Yeah.
the borough's professionals to make sure that everything's done exactly the way that it's intended.
Rich, does this match your understanding?
Yeah, basically there were the two conditions regarding the bond for the trees and the Bergen County Soil Conservation District approval.
And we're still waiting on the Bergen County?
Correct, yep,
Right.
yep.
Which is, and it says Bergen County, but it's a state agency, right? It's the Bergen County District of the state,
Exactly,
right?
the Soil Conservation
It's
District.
a state agency.
That's correct. And Boswell's been in touch with them in addition to our professionals as well.
When do you expect to get that permit?
That, I believe, we're hoping to get by the end of this month, I believe.
If not by next week, yes.
Okay.
And I know they were looking for a letter of assurance from the Bergen County, you know, like, okay, maybe it's not gonna be approved tomorrow, but the plan is that it is gonna be approved, and you get a letter saying.
Yeah, we have to get a letter from them indicating that we're fully approved for the tree clearing and and that the measures we're gonna implement are to their satisfaction. That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Alright.
can't move forward without that.
All right, thank you.
Just a question, just
Sure.
for the sake of the residents, how long is it gonna take for this entire project from start to finish?
The entire 200, the entire
Right,
project.
obviously, you're gonna be opening up roads back on McCoy Road, you're gonna be running water
Do you want to
mains.
answer that?
Yeah.
We have a high school back there, this is one entrance for residents to get in and out, just,
Right, and we've been in touch with the representatives from the high school or their council, but Mayor, you know, in part, it's a function of the market, but I think we estimate it's about a 3-year process from start to finish.
3 years, okay. Anybody else have any other questions?
So this is a resolution to speed it up so they can start cutting down trees?
No, we have to get this developer's agreement regardless. This is the condition of approval. The developer's agreement was always something that we needed. The only thing that Matt wanted me to explain was that the planning board was okay with us doing the tree clearing, subject to us getting those other conditions in place, the tree restoration and the soil conservation district. But the developer's agreement that you're voting on was always required by the borough. Yeah.
Anybody else? Not seeing any? All right, motion to introduce resolution,
Are we gonna vote on it?
oh yeah, we gotta vote on it, yeah. We did, okay. Roll call.
I need a motion.
Oh, motion, yeah, that's, motion to approve?
Motion.
Second?
Second,
Roll call.
Councilwoman Gofredo?
yes.
Councilman McCann?
No.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
President Saliani?
No.
Councilman Slasinski? Oh, absent, sorry. Councilman Talamini?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank
moving
you very
on.
much. Thank you.
Yep. Got the following ordinance for introduction, 24 Capital 940, capital ordinance to fund IT infrastructure improvements. Mr. Coons, explain that real quick.
This would fund the remainder of the fiber project, specifically for the installation, and also a refresh of the PD network. That's it.
Okay. Do we open the public at this point?
No.
No.
Public at the second. no.
Okay. All right, do we have a date?
Motion to introduce.
Do we have a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Roll call?
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Councilman McCann?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Council President Saliani?
Yes.
Councilman Talamini?
Yes.
All right, we've got introduction of,
Open to the public at the next meeting, February 27th.
okay, this will be open for
Public statement and adoption on the 27th.
adoption on the 27th?
Yes, public statement.
Yep.
And adoption.
Okay, introduction of ordinance 24 Capital 941, capital ordinance to amend ordinance 22-885. Mr. Coons?
Sure. This can kind of be considered as a companion to 940. 941 actually amends the funding sources for a couple of prior capital ordinances to free up enough capital fund balance to use in 940. Specifically, 941 takes funding out of the Open Space Trust Fund to fund our grant matches for the Truman Field improvements and the Bush Plaza Park development.
Okay, this will be, final adoption will be on February 27th, council meeting. All right,
Motion.
motion to approve?
Motion to introduce.
Motion introduced?
So
I'm still
moved.
new at this. Roll call?
Councilwoman Goffredo.
Yes.
Councilman McCann.
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Council President Saliani.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Okay, we got one more ordinance for introduction, 24, Code 942, amend Code Recreation Commission. Mr. Coons?
Sure, and Mayor, I think that this one will cover the workshop item as well. I'll wrap that all up in this item here. Okay, so you're going to see on the workshop, it's establish a recreation trust fund. This one's actually concerning the Recreation Commission. They also go hand in hand, and I'll tell you why. So we're starting this year's budget development process, and we were putting together all the budget requests. It was clear we were going to have an issue with the appropriations cap, and two, the Recreation Commission, I think for a while, has wished for a process where they could use the fees generated in the current year to fund programs in the current year. Specific to Recreation Commissions, there's statutory language that says that it must be funded, through taxes as a budget. So they get a budget like other departments, and then the revenue that comes in becomes anticipated revenue. So you're not really able to use a trust fund with a rec commission. A trust fund would be the mechanism where the funds come in a given year from fees, and they can spend up to that amount in that same year. Gives them a lot more flexibility in terms of standing of programs and the like. Moving it to a trust fund, meets their goal. It also substantially resolves our appropriation cap issue this year because of the cap base adjustment and the level of increase this year that the Rec Commission was requesting due to the growing popularity of their programs and all of the new programs that they're offering, as well as some inflationary pressures there. So in order to have a trust fund, you have to have a committee. You can't have a commission, okay? So what these two items would do would establish a trust fund, and it would basically change the language for a rec commission to that of a recreation committee, thus enabling the trust fund. So the ordinance that you have before you establishes a rec committee in place of a recreation commission. Under the draft that we came up with, which I've shared with Mr. Guadagnino, and we spoke about earlier today, the terms of office, the number of members, the length of the terms, all of that would remain the same. There's some clarifications there to reflect current practice. Any language that was referencing the underlying state statute for rec commissions was deleted and the like. Certain things were sort of modernized and brought up to date, but it essentially enacts a recreation commission, or a committee rather. So if you take this action tonight and introduce this, it could be adopted at the next meeting. Also at the next meeting, what we would do is we'd have a resolution on the agenda to establish the trust fund. We would adopt the bylaws of the rec committee, essentially the same thing that the commission has. You're changing the name for the most part. And also then appoint the members to the committee as well.
I have a question, Mr. Coons. When we were talking about redevelopment of the downtown, and our planner was discussing commission versus committee, doesn't one of them not have to have any approvals from the council? They could just do it on their own?
That's sort of a generalization. Commissions, again, sort of generally have some sort of underpinning in state statute. Think of environmental commission, shade tree commission, things like that. That's generally the difference. But you can also kind of think of it as what's in a name. I've also seen agencies that are strictly local called commission, like a flood commission. So it's not an exact science by any means. But in this particular case, there's specific statutes regarding commissions and specific stuff that a committee can do that a commission can't.
Correct, okay. And I thought I heard you use the term appropriations credit?
Cap.
Okay, so you can't do an appropriations credit anymore from what I understand. Is that correct or am I wrong?
Don't know what you're referring to by credit.
In other words, if I have a program, I charge $10 and I collect $100. That goes into a fund that only I can use, and I can use that $100 because I brought that revenue in.
That's what we're talking about establishing.
Okay, so I thought that was an appropriations credit then.
No, it's a trust fund.
Okay.
You're establishing the trust fund, is that what you said, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so, I mean, from what I understand, the plan, this is more of a budgeting, it was a budgeting problem. And by doing this, we're basically, we're moving the rec committee is going to have the same responsibilities and the same authority as it did before as the commission. Everyone's appointments are staying the same. So if you have 1 year left, you still have 1 year left. If you just got appointed, you're still appointed. It's just more of a numbers thing, and we're just trying to make things easier on everyone. It's helping the finance committee out, and it's also helping the rec committee out because now they can access their funds more easily. I think it's a win-win, and it's not something that we went into, willy-nilly. We had the discussion in finance, and we're like, okay, what do we gotta do? Is this something, do we think that this is something that the recreation would do? So, I don't know, let's see what we're doing, and then we said, okay, we'll bring it to the rec committee, and then we went to the chairman of rec, and we discussed it, and we saw, positives and negatives, and we're just, this is more a financial thing than anything, and just, the last thing I want to do is hurt rec, and it's one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me, Oakland Recreation, and so this is really just about being able to balance our books better. So and just thank you to the rec committee, and thank you to Rich and Dave and for coming up with this solution, and we just want to move forward, and Oakland has, I can't think of a better recreation program in the world. I'll say the world. They do a great job, and we're not trying to mess anything up. This is all about getting our budget in order.
Councilman Talmadge, just a quick question. So you've had an open, actually, I'd like to have the rec commissioner come up to the podium real quick in regards to this. Mr. Guadi, I just want to make sure, are you comfortable with this?
Completely comfortable with the way it's being done. We've worked hard, because everybody remembers what happened, people who were around town, who were here 12 years ago. This is not that. This is completely just taking the commission and taking the same language, the same verbiage that was used in the ordinance, and creating a committee out of it. It's just by name. Our biggest bugaboo has been, as you were our liaison for a lot of years, anybody who's been our liaison knows, is we need access to our funds. We need 100% access to our funds, and we can be able to carry our funds over. We don't use it, we can carry them over year to year. This fixes that problem. This has been our biggest, you can call me committee member, commission member, you can call me the rec guy, doesn't matter. Taxpayers should have access to their funds, and this will take care of this problem. And if we have a year where we don't need that much money, we can carry it over and maybe reduce the fees next year, or get some extra equipment, or fix Truman, or whatever it is. So just to answer the question, I am completely comfortable, the commission is completely comfortable at the way this is being handled. We work closely with Rich and with Russ in making sure it's the same language. You're basically, in effect, the commission is working as a committee anyhow. We weren't working as having independent rights. You were on the commission.
No.
We ran basically as a committee. Everything has to be signed off on by Mr. Coons, and we continue all that. It's just changing the name, and again, this is not what went on 12 years ago, 13 years ago. This is something completely different. It's positive. The way it's being done is no negatives, and I completely, the commission supports this, and we look forward to having full access to the funds.
And the one thing you said without touching on it, Mike, It actually makes the programs better, and the people who benefit are the kids,
That's all that matters.
right? So this
And
makes it better for the kids.
exactly,
It's one thing, you were saying it, but you didn't say the safe word.
We know how,
Yeah.
we know how some parents have a hard time writing that check, and now we know that check is going all towards.
Where it needs
towards
to go.
what's supposed
Absolutely.
And this is phenomenal, this is exciting.
Thank you, Mr. Guadagno. I just wanted to make sure that you were comfortable with this.
I have a general question, I don't know if it's for Mike or, so was the problem with the access to funds, you weren't able to pay bills or budget?
Yeah, we had to use about $6,000 of fundraising money this year, and we still had $68,000 in the account legally couldn't get to.
Okay.
So this will take care of that problem. We won't have to use fundraising money to
Okay.
pay our bills anymore, so yes.
Yeah, all right.
And this year, we're going up to $750,000 a budget. I mean, it's, the programs are just growing. And not only the growing, I don't know if there's more kids in town now, but it's just, we have to pay referees, we have to buy helmets, we have to buy, so it just,
I just signed all the checks, so this is basically a product of your success of your program.
not my, it's my
I mean,
commissioners, it's the parents, it's the directors.
the program of the
It's a
rec-
big
yeah,
program, it's a
that's
lot of,
right.
people have been in the past, it's really, just moving it along.
Okay.
So, but it just needs to be answered. This is not, we're not gonna fill this room up like we did like 12 years ago. This is completely, something positive in recreation, something we've looked forward to, and we're glad we can take care of it.
Thank you, Mr. Guadagno.
Thank you.
All right, any other discussion? Not seeing any. Motion, make a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Councilman McCann?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes?
Council President Saliani?
Yes.
Councilman Talamini?
Yes.
This will be for February 27th for adoption,
Public open.
for public open. Okay. All right, moving along to adoption of 24 Code 938, an ordinance revising construction fees in the Borough of Oakland. Mr. Coons, you want to bring us up to speed on that?
Right, so this was brought before you after a review of all the code enforcement related fees. It's not just construction, it's construction, also fire prevention, zoning, et cetera, to bring them up to really where they should be. They haven't really been addressed in about the last 15 years. And, we're well behind our fellow communities in terms of what we charge and the revenue that we generate for these activities. And so this is meant to make sure that, the fees are appropriate to the expenses in the office, because it's supposed to cover all of those. So just a general update to the fees, looking at, neighbors, kind of factoring in inflation.
Thank you, Mr. Coons. We discussed this openly with the council back in January. Do we have a motion to open to public?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Anybody from the public wish to speak on this ordinance? Not seeing any, motion to close?
Motion to close.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, was motion to adopt 24 Code 938. Do we have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Councilman McCann?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes?
Council President Saliani?
Yes.
Councilman Talamini?
Yes.
Okay, moving along to adoption of 24 Code 939, an ordinance amending recreation fees. I know we talked about this last month. Mr. Coons, just bring the public up to speed again.
Sure, this is just something that we do every year. The Rec Commission takes great pains, we meet with Mike, we meet with Neil. I think Neil takes great pains to, basically get out his crystal ball and figure out how many participants there's gonna be in the programs, what the fees need to be able to support all of that. And so we adjust them annually to try to make sure that the fees that are collected are covering the costs of the programs. So what you have here is fees that take into account enrollment, your projected enrollment changes, inflationary increases for tournaments, for officials, things like that, adding in different programs. So basically, it's just the annual update that we do to make sure that the fees are where they need to be to support the program.
Okay. All right, do we have a motion to open to public?
So moved.
Second.
Oh, before I move on, also just want to point out, and although it's something that we did via resolution at the last meeting, the fees for rec, baseball and softball take into account the fact that we're partnering now with the Chamber of Commerce on a sponsorship program as well. So I know we're looking forward to great things with that.
You can mention that last week.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Coons? Okay. Where are we?
You need a second.
Need a second?
Yep.
Open to public? You, Mr. McCann?
Second.
Okay. Anybody from the public wish to talk about adopt ordinance 24 code 939?
Is there a way we could like get rid of the basketball and baseball fees?
I think we should pay the basketball coaches.
All right, not seeing anybody from the public. Did you wish to address the public? No? Okay. Not seeing anybody from the public. Motion to close?
Motion to close.
Second.
Roll call?
Motion to
Oh, well, sorry, motion. Still new at this. It's only meeting number 3. Motion to adopt 24 code 939, an ordinance amending recreation fees.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Councilman McCann?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes?
Council President Saliani?
Yes.
Councilman Talamini?
Yes.
All right, we have two issues, 2 work session items. Keller Williams grand opening. Mr. Coons, do you want to take that, or would the clerk like to take that one?
It's all Rich.
Mr. Coons?
I was gonna say it's all Wendy.
It's all Rich.
All right, well, Wendy may have some salient details here, but essentially Keller Williams is doing a grand opening later in the spring. They've asked to use the Shoppers parking lot that we own off of 202 there in the downtown for their event. So they're just asking for approval for that. We don't really see a downside to doing that. I believe it's on a weekend when you can correct
May
me if I'm wrong.
16th
May
is the
16th,
date.
whatever day May 16th is. I would say it's fine as long as it's not going to at all interfere with the construction of Bush Plaza, and probably subject to having the appropriate, liability insurance and hold harmless.
What kind of event is
So
it?
I can tell you, it says, it's a permit to close the parking lot located at 383 Ramapo Valley Road on May 16, 2024 for a grand opening event. The event will be scheduled from 4:30 to 7:30 in the evening, so the lot would need to be shut from the morning of the event till the following morning for the tent company to set up and dismantle the tents. We are expecting approximately 200 attendees intended to provide light food, DJ, and entertainment for children, a clown, possibly an ice cream truck. There will also be tours for the public through the new office.
Just like to make sure that they get their food permit from the Board of Health for both things that they're gonna be offering food for.
And police approval.
Any other further discussion from members of the council?
The 16th, I think, is a Thursday. And they're saying it's gotta be the morning, is it the morning of and the morning after?
Yeah, they said the lot would need to be shut from the morning of the event until the following morning so that the temp company can set up and dismantle. So it'd be closed on the 16th to the 17th.
Now, Keller Williams is a company that is,
Renting the space where Chopper's business used to be. It's upstairs in the white building in the lot there.
oh, okay.
So they
And-
want to use that lot.
And what product are they?
They're real estate agents.
Oh.
They're
oh,
real estate agents.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay, moving on to the second.
But we need, is everybody on board with
Yeah,
moving
sure.
forward? Just to make sure.
Any objections? Everybody good to move forward for next week? We're good?
Fine.
Yep.
Okay. All right, next item, establish a recreation trust fund. Mr. Coons, I know you went over it already in great detail. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think we've covered it.
Is the council in agreement with the recreation trust fund?
Yes.
Yeah, everything.
Okay, very good. Anybody have any new business? Old business?
Mr. Coons, it came up last night at the flood commission meeting. What are the buyout of the properties? Where are we with the buyouts of the properties that we were going through?
Sure,
Phase 3?
Phase 3 is almost complete. There's one more property that's going through that process, and all 5 Phase 3 properties have all been acquired. Phase 1 was successful, and we acquired all 6. Phase 2, we've acquired 6 out of 7. There was one homeowner that changed her mind, didn't want to sell. We will be doing a bid to take down remaining homes for Phase 2 and 3. Closing out those programs and then moving on to Phase 4, where we do have a funding commitment from Bergen County Those are some additional homes on Lenape, and some, few homes on Lake Shore Drive as well.
And the timing for phase 4 would be?
Probably substantially, late this year and into next year.
Okay, thank you.
And one thing you need to be aware, given everything that's happened since COVID with that, and Green Acres rule changes, we're going to need updated appraisals on all the properties.
Thank you.
Any other old business? Not seeing any. Committee liaison reports, start with Ms. Grafito.
Thank you, Mayor. On February 5th, the Shade Tree Commission met. They are working on Arbor Day presentations at the local elementary school, probably Dogwood. We spoke about the deer problem. Please consider their Adopt a Tree program. To learn more about how to receive a free tree, please email shadetree@oakland-nj.org. The OCC did not meet in February. Their next meeting is scheduled for March 4th at 7 p.m. The Access for All Committee met on February 7th. They spoke about future events. Their next event will be an Easter egg hunt on March 23rd. The rain date will be March 24th. And their next meeting is March 7th, which is a change on the calendar, Wendy, at 7:30 p.m. That's it.
Thank you. Councilman McCann?
Two items that we took action on tonight were from meetings with the administration committee / also the public health. And the first one was with regard to the ordinance to fund for the bond for the IT infrastructure. Spent a lot of time. I want to thank Rich for putting together an excellent proposal and an explanation, and as well as our IT director as to why the improvements were needed. I want to acknowledge that the mayor attended that meeting, and frankly, we tried to see if there were other ways of doing something like this without having to go out for $400,000, including shared services, and speaking to other towns of what we can do. Unfortunately, given the nature and the scope of the technology and the requirement by Dell that we get our response in before the prices went up, we chose to act going forward with the bond. The other item that we covered was the health risk manager. We met with, and I believe the gentleman is here tonight. I thought I saw him. I guess he's up. Where is he?
Right there.
Oh. We had a good meeting, reviewed his program, and in comparison, we felt that he brings the best value to the employees and their benefits package. Him and his partner made a commitment of providing spontaneous customer service, even on Friday nights, for our employees. A lot of times, employees have issues with coverage when they're CVS. They get denied, and that kind of service is old school and much appreciated, which is why we recommended to the council that we move forward, to you, Mayor, that we move forward with that. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. McCann. Councilman?
Sally Ann.
How are you?
I know, it's only your third meeting we got. Pleased to meet you. So I'll start off with the simplest one. I want to thank DPW for everything they did today. Mayor, to echo your comment, they did a great job today with the storm, and we can't thank them enough for their dedication to the town. From the next update, real quick, was the Flood Commission, and it was something we approved tonight. So we met last night, and they're very happy with the town approving the river restoration project. So we're good to see that going forward. So Rich, appreciate all your work there to help get that done. And then I attended my first public events committee last night as well, and very interesting meeting, very fun, very low-key fun. It was a great time. Their first event of the year is going to be the Easter egg hunt, which is going to be Oh, wow.
23rd, 24th.
Mar- March,
March
23rd.
March
23rd,
23rd.
rain date 24th.
rainy day 24th. And then, so just everyone know that that's coming. That's all I had.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes, unfortunately, the Environmental Commission did not meet. We did not have a quorum. The Board of Health meets on February the 20th. I don't have a report for seniors. Councilman McCann, if you don't mind, since Mr. Slazinski's not here tonight, and I was at the first aid meeting, I'd just like to give just a couple of numbers, if you don't mind.
Please go.
Is that okay?
Sure.
During the month of January, the first aid squad had 79 calls, and this is phenomenal. They answered 94%, 94.2 or 94.4% of their calls, which is outstanding. And the other thing is, if the town didn't know, First Aid Squad is celebrating their 70th anniversary this year. There's a display at the library, shows pictures of the John Robert Walker First Aid Squad when it started, and pictures throughout the 70 years. So if you'd like to learn a little bit more about the First Aid Squad, please visit the display at the Oakland Public Library.
Could you tell the residents, if they're interested, how they can join the First Aid Squad?
Yes, as a matter of fact, thank you, Mayor, because someone just stopped me at ShopRite, which is great. If anybody wants to become a member of the First Aid Squad, an EMT or a driver. EMT does go to school at Bergen County. I think it's 250 classroom hours, so it's pretty extensive. First, if you want to be a driver, you attend a 4-hour program at the county again. It's called CEVO. And you commit 12 hours a week. And let me tell you, it's so rewarding when you do help these people, especially shut-ins or someone living alone. It's just a great way to pay it forward, because there are people hurting in town, and they need the First Aid Squad. And it made me have a greater appreciation of my good health, thank you, God, that I see so many people that they really, really need help with the First Aid Squad. They have nobody. All they have is the first aid. So if you have time and you'd like to pay it forward, you can join the First Aid Squad. We meet the first Monday of every month, 7:30 at the First Aid Squad. And there's also a website, forgive me, I don't know it right off the top of my head, but I think it's OaklandFirstAidSquad.com or Robert John Walker First Aid Squad. But it's a great way to pay forward. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Talamini?
Okay, thank you. So I had my first rec meeting, and I lied to them. I told them I wasn't going to change anything. I wasn't going to upset the apple cart. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. All those good cliches. And then the next day I had a finance meeting, and I was told, you have to tell Mike that everything's changing. But other than that, I was very happy to go to the rec meeting. It's a great group of people. It's they're all concerned about their individual sports, but they're also concerned about the program. It's great to see how they all work together, and it seems like a great group of people. They all seem to like each other, and I'm happy to be a part of it. Sign-ups are starting for baseball and softball now, so get out there and sign up your kids. The planning board, we met, we spoke about the Lennar project, and that's just going forward. I'm sort of getting up to speed on all of that. I haven't been on the planning board before, so I'm sort of new to all of it. I'm sure I'll have more to report in the next coming meetings. And other than that, happy Valentine's Day to everyone. And,
Mayor, one more quick note.
Sure.
For all the children who are up watching this meeting, there'll be delayed openings tomorrow at Brando, Indian Hills, and K-8.
Okay, Councilman Pignatelli, it's oaklandfas.org, and there's a whole sign-up sheet right on the front page of the website.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Bills to be paid, Councilwoman Gafredo.
Thank you, Mayor. Total bills to be paid, $1,428,717.05. So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Gafredo?
Yes.
Councilman McCann?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Council President Saliani?
Yes.
Councilman Talamini?
Yes.
I want to thank everybody. The next council meeting will be held Thursday, February 27th, 2024, at 7 PM here in the chambers.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.